Hello, my name is Akim Longwe, and without further ado, let's get right into the code. Okay, one thing that we have to understand is that before undertaking a project in any programming language, you have to know the characteristics of the language. So basically, we know that C is a procedural programming language. So that means each and every component of the program of what you are writing, if at all it has so many functionalities, they have to be broken down in different modules or in different procedures. So with the printf function, you understand that you are printing different cases. Okay. uh, okay, let's write it. Let's create our directory first. Okay, so this is where I'll have my code. Yeah, so basically with the printf function, you know that you're having a lot of functionalities happening in one function. So by that already, you know that you understand that you have to have different functions doing different things. For instance, I might have a function that will be going through the text of the string that is given to the function. So I may call that the printf. Okay, so let's just say touch printf dot c. Okay, that's my function. All right, let's put an underscore there. Okay, next I may have a function that is just checking the cases. For instance, someone has pushed a %c or %s, so I need to have a function that is simply doing that. So you see, I'm breaking down each and every functionality into its own module or procedure according to the nature of the language itself. So I'll come again with let's say output cases. So that is the function, that is the file that will contain the function to handle the output cases. For instance, a string, a whatever. Okay. Next, I may have a function, let's say print string. And this function, you already did this one, where you were printing a string without without actually using the printf function. Okay, so I may have my main.h file. Again, what else should I have? Print collector, or someone may say put okay. And finally, I may have my readme file there, readme.md. Okay, so these are all the files that I'll be using for my project. And getting started is so very easy. Just by doing this, I've gotten started. All right, so let's go to let's start defining our functions. We say that we will have an entry function that will be going through a string of given characters. Okay, and then out of that string of given characters, it will have an output cases function which will be called inside the entry function. That output cases function is used is to do what? Is to check the cases. Now, if it checks the cases and it finds a case which has been specified, or a format specifier which has been specified in the cases, it will call another function that will just print what has been specified. All right. Okay, let's get into it. Let's write our entry function. Print f. Okay. That's a spelling error. All right, now this being our entry file, I will include the main.h file. Okay, because it defines all or the methods that I'll be using. Main.h, the header file, and then okay, this is our entry file. You can come with your comments there, but I'll go straight into it. So this is the entry function. Okay, this is our actual printf function. And this is the prototype of the function. Very easy. Okay. Guys, do not be afraid of getting started. If you haven't started your project, just by doing this, you have gotten started. Of course, not with the spelling errors, okay? Just by doing this, you have gotten started already. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Okay, so char length, let's do that. I'll explain later on. Let's do var start. AP. Okay, what else do we specify? Format. Okay, now as you can see here, this is the prototype of a variadic function. Now what does a variadic function say? It says that this is my function. I'm expecting to have an argument called format, but then after this argument I will have an endless list of arguments given. So you have not specified how many arguments you may have from here on, so we use the ellipsis. Okay, now var list here is the variable that will hold all the unspecified arguments that we are going to have. And by saying var start, we are initializing this with the arguments and then specifying that we also have another argument that is not in here, which is format. Okay, if at all I'm lying to you, you can check the documentation, which is the best provider of information. All right, now we say that in this function we are just going to loop through the string of characters that has been given to us. After looping through, we are going to check, has the input specified any format by doing %d or %i or %c. Then if the answer is yes, then we'll have to take an action, which is call a function. Okay, something has been specified here. Can you take an action? All right. Now, first of all, we'll check, do we have any characters? Because someone may choose to call the function without giving it any arguments. Okay. Now, if there isn't any argument, we return something that is negative. It's already specified. Negative shows you that there is an error. There is nothing that has been printed out, but in the same place there is an error. Okay, now for us to look through the string of characters that have been given unto us, we use a loop. Now we can use different types of loops here. We can use a for loop, a while loop, or yeah, and what have you. So let's use a while loop here. Okay, now we say if while format is not equal to now, okay, our termination case. If it was a recursive function, we could have said this is our base case. All right, now we'll say if format is equal to percent. Can we go to the next memory location in the block of memory? Because this is a block of memory. Let's go to the next block and check the character that is there. Now we say, okay, the function that I am going to call, which is, let's call a function here. Output cases, okay, format AP, else. Let's just do some, let's call this write function here. Okay, let's increment our memory location again, the block of memory. Let us go to the next character by doing that, and in the end we say var end, showing that we have ended, we are closing our list of undefined variables. Okay, so just by doing this, guys, you have gotten started already. Okay, now as we already said, C is a procedural programming language. You cannot have all the required code files written in this printf function. It will become messy. That's why most of you are encountering problems of your function is over 40 lines. That's because you are trying to implement logic which is different. You are trying to couple it into one module. So this is a file that is just going through the list of characters that you have been given and then checking if the input has specified a case. If it has specified a case here by saying percent something or just percent, we are going to increment the block of memory to check for the next character, because we might have in actual sense it may come as this percent, let's say percent s. Now this is checking this here. Now after checking this, we are incrementing to go to the next block, which is the character just in front of it. Now that character, we are going to check it inside our output cases by using a switch case. Okay, so with that said, let's write our file first. Okay, so if you do a man page on, if you check the documentation on this function here, it is found in the variadic functions are found in the standard args, stdargs dot h. Okay, so without that it will not work. And the light file, if you do man to write, you'll find that this is implemented in the function header uni standard dot h. So without these two, without this one, this function will not work. Without this one, this and that will not work. Okay, so I hope you already know this. If the user has not specified anything, we just output that one. We just write that one into the standard output. Okay, standard output, and let's get the address of the buffer, and then we print that one out. Okay, and okay, let's proceed. So just by doing that, guys, we have gotten started. Let's see. Let us have our test file, main.c. Okay, let's just write it because there are a couple of things that we need to do. Touch main.c. All right, now let us go into our header file, and we'll say if it has not been defined, define it. Okay, so all our prototypes will come here, and then we'll end. Okay, so we'll have our prototype for the output cases, int output cases, prototype for the printf function itself, and then prototype for print strings. Okay, I think because of time we can just print strings. Let us write that. Let me check the prototype for the printf function. Okay, so that's it. Okay, that's exactly how it is. Okay, so guys, this is not that much of a tough project. You just need to know how to piece all the elements, all the things that you have been learning so far. Just need to put them together. Just need to know how you can join your pieces of the puzzle. Okay, all right, now let us see how we are going to make our output cases. Okay, so the output cases should take a cost char format, or we can say case. Case is a keyword. Okay, let's just use the format, and then again we'll take a variable of type var list, ap. Okay, now let us go to our file, output cases. Now the output case as well will include the, you know what, let's just include some of these header files inside the main.h. Okay, so here we can define all the header files that is needed in the in our project. We can say standard args.h hash include unistandard.h Then yeah, let's do that. What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay, let's see. Print underscore. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, let's go to the print strings function again. Now because, oh no, no, no. Let's go to print cases. Print cases, where are you? By print output cases. Now because we have specified all our headers that we need in the main.h file, we can just use it here. So it will know how to refer to the file that we need. So output cases. So this is where we are going to check our different cases. Okay. We are getting a type of var list again. And then yeah, now character length has to be kept as well. Okay. Now we do switch. I hope you know a switch. So the switch will help us check our specified format. Remember, we are calling the output cases function in the actual printf function to check the case that the user or the one calling the function has specified. Now here we check, is the format specified a string? Is the format specified a character? Is it an integer or is it a binary digit? Now, according to what the user has specified, we are going to call a specific function according to that specification. Okay, for instance, at your home, when your brother's friend comes along, you call your brother. When your aunt's friend comes, you call your aunt. When your dad's friend comes, you call your dad. Okay, now here we'll have different functions that will be called as well according to what is specified by the user. All right, now we can say, okay, case, let us check, is it the character visiting us? Okay, now if it's the character, we need to keep track of the length, because if it's the character, we are calling the print character function or the put char. Now just by doing that, in the var_arg variable or function, again we know that just by specifying that the case is a character, we expect the user to have entered a character as well in the var list. Okay, now we'll say var_arg ap, and we expect ap to be an integer. All right, because putchar works with integers that are in the form that are interpolated in the ASCII codes. Okay, for instance, if we say integer 65, for putchar that is an A character. Okay, now if we know that that is the case that was specified, we break. We say, okay, this is what was specified, and we have called the putchar function, and we have printed what you wanted, and we go back to the calling function, which is the printf function. Okay, now the second case here may be a string which is specified by s. Now Again, we'll call the corresponding function for a string that will handle the printing of a string. Print strings. Var again, we know that if someone has specified a %s, by any means they're going to give us an array of characters. Okay, and if that happens, we break. And finally, if the user just wanted to print a %, we just say, okay, maybe just wanted 2 percentages. It wasn't specifying anything. We can do that. And we'll count the length again. And we'll call the butcher function as well. AP integer. Or for this one, because it has not been specified, we can just say print it. If it's a %, just print it using our butcher function. Okay, and we break. Now, if the user or the caller has given us an empty string which is specified by a null character, we can just return -1. This is an error. This is not supposed to happen. And we can have a default case. Let's have a default case. So this default case is executed if there is no case that has been specified. If we check the case of C is not there, S is not there, % is not there, and then the now character is not there, it will just use the default case to print whatever has been given. Print C I didn't know it was going to take this long. I'll cut the video short. std standard output file number, which is a 1, and then we get the buffer again. Okay, and finally we break, and then we return the length thereof. Please don't copy what I'm doing here. You'll be kimberlized. I'm just doing this for you to understand the concept, mainly the concept of the modularity of C. Okay, now just by doing that, if we come here, we'll call our butcher function. If we come here, we'll call our print strings function. If we come here, butcher again. If you have more and more and more cases that you are checking, you can come here and add your case. Let's say you want to add for the I specification. You say, okay, let the case be I. Let's check that one, and then you do whatever you can do here. You call the length, and then you call the function that will return the length, which will be appended there, and then in the end it will return the length. So basically it's that simple to write your own output cases function. All right, now we have the printf function, we have the output cases function, and we don't have the putchar function, and we don't have the print strings function. Let us go to the putchar function. Now the putchar function is one of the easiest to write, but before you proceed you need to understand this one as well, the write function. This is the function that is very important when you're writing your own printf, because by all means you need something that will write output to the standard output, and this is the file that is doing it. Okay, and you know that it is getting a file descriptor here, and it is getting the buffer and then the size of what you are printing. Okay, so take time to understand that one, but without further ado, let us begin with our print strings function. Okay, so I think I wrote it somewhere. I will not have to rewrite it again because of time. Let me just copy. Should I just copy everything? Yes. Okay, now by print string. Okay. Oh, oops. Undo. Okay, so this is my print strings function, the one that is responsible for printing strings. And then again we need a putchar function, putchar, and I think we need to modify something here. Print string. Okay, let's put the right function prototype. So this one is expecting an array of strings or characters. Right now in the putchar, this one, okay. This one expects an integer. As I already pointed out, this is one of the easiest functions to write. Let's go to putchar, putchar.c. So we'll include our header file again because it has that standard unistandard main.h, and then we have the print putchar function returning an integer and getting an integer as well. And so len, we write it. We write whatever integer has been given unto us to the standard output. We get the buffer, the character, and then the count. We are printing just one character. Then we return the length. Okay, so that's it about our putchar function. Remember, I'm putting an underscore here because C as a language, it also defines a putchar function. So the moment you write a function with the same name as a function that is already defined in C, it becomes a sin. That's an error. Okay, now let's see. First of all, we said that we are let's go to our printf function. So this is a printf function. We are getting the characters, a string of characters. We are checking, and then we are going through the string, and we are going to output cases to check the case that has been specified. All right, now if we go to output cases, we are getting the format again, the case that has been specified, and the list of arguments, and we are checking, is the case switch, is the case a character? If there is a character, let's call the character function and we give it whatever has been given as input. If it's a string, let us get that one as well and give it to the string function to know what to do with the input here. This is the input. To make things easier for you to understand, we can do this. Output cases. We can do this. Let's say we can have a variable input of type char input. We can say var arg var arg. Okay, let's not go that far because of time. Let's just do a little fix here and there. Okay, but I hope you get the gist. This is the variable. Okay, you can choose to put this in a variable and then pass that variable here, but it's all the same. Now, after we check the cases, we are giving it the functions that are going to handle that case. For example, printing strings. You already have that function and you have written it before. You call the printing strings function and it prints your strings. You call the put char function and it puts your character. So with that said, let's try out our printf function here in our main.c function. Okay, sorry. Main.c. Okay, now in our main.c we include the header, main.h, and we call int main void. That's our entry point of our program. And to check for the length, let's define int c length, specifying the length of the character that is printed by c, %c. Okay, let us define char c char, which is a. Okay, and we define our c length to see the length of c char, whatever that variable means, but yeah, that's c char. Now we say int my length. Now we'll call my printf function here and we'll try to print the very same c char. Okay, and then in the end, let me use the internal printf function to print okay, clen is %d clen, just to test it. Remember, your main.c file does not get pushed. I copy that, I paste it there, and then my len is that. Okay, now we are going to test the length of the character because we are going to print a character there. Now after we print the first character, let us put char. This is the put char. Okay, let us put char. A new line, and let us put char here again, a new line. Okay, now we return a 0. All right, now we GCC to compile all the C files, and I need my output to be printf. Okay, now we do that. These are a lot of errors. Okay, so let's start. Warning, type defaults to int. Okay, I haven't specified the data type here in output cases. Len undeclared. Okay, let's fix that. It's in printf, in output cases, line number 7, printf line number 22. All right, let's go to output cases, line number 7. Oh, come on, this is not it, but I know that it's in the header file .h. Okay, here we didn't specify a character. All right, now we GCC again. What else? Print strings instead of print string, and put char here. We said we're going to have a put char. Printf print string. Okay, e main.h print string, printf dot c. What? Okay. Len char len instead of len. Char len, and then output cases. Let's write that. Let's go to output cases, and we are changing this one to be print string instead of print strings. Okay, now let us GCC again. All right, this is in printf, and output cases should be output cases. Okay, put char, print c, put char. This should be put char. Okay, let us compare again. Printf, no, you're not supposed to call printf in main.c. Okay, we didn't specify the standard input and output. Here let us include std.h for the sake of this function. Right, now let us compile again, and we are having an error, multi-character constant. What is that? Can we change this a bit? Let's use double quotes. For a character, I guess we put single quotes, but for a string we use double quotes. Let's do that again, and then it compiles. So if we do printf, you will see that the character A has been printed and the length are the same, but the first one here has not printed anything. Can we check it out? main.c. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is not printing anything. Why? Why not? My char. Let's do that. Let us do that again. Then let us run it, compile and run. Okay, so my char is printing, but then the printf function is not printing anything. What could be the problem? Let me try that. Okay. Okay, I was defining the length from there. Anyway, let's just print these guys. Okay. Okay, so it's printing, and we go to the next. Let us try to print an array of characters called string, and we give it my name is Akim Longway. Okay, and we print that string using the internal printf function, which is %s, and then we say string, and then I use my printf function to print the same string with a new line there. Okay, str. Now if we compile it and we run it, you see that it's printing my name is Akim Longwe, my name is Akim Longwe. So I hope that will give you a little bit of some tips and hints on how you can complete and start your printf function. That is if you haven't gotten started. Okay, thank you for your attention. This is it. This is everything about the printf function. Thank you.